We all know Medieval 3 Total War is still years away, but that does not change the fact that we're all craving a proper Medieval Total War experience. So when my Twitch chat kept pushing me to try the 1100 AD mod for Rome 2, I decided to give it a real shot. After playing it for weeks, it's time to answer the real question. Is this the Medieval Total War mod we're going to be playing whilst we wait for Medieval 3? Let's check it out. The moment you start a campaign, the 1100 AD mod immediately sets the tone. You get to choose out of many different factions, European ones like the Holy Roman Empire, Norman England and the Pope, to Muslim caliphates, Christian Crusader kingdoms and Norse-led Viking expeditions. Even the Russian princes and steppe warriors are playable in this mod. When you start a campaign, you're introduced to new mechanics like crusades and jihads, and they instantly add weight and direction to the campaign. Cities feel properly medieval now, with castle walls, redesigned settlements, and entirely new building chains. Once you load into your first battle, the atmosphere really clicks. The new units look fantastic, and for a moment, you almost forget you're playing Rome 2 Total War at all. Beyond those first impressions, the 1100 AD mod also makes some smart changes to the battle balance. Cavalry charges hit much harder now. When you commit to a charge, you really feel the impact. Also, they can stay in a fight way longer. It's actually realistic, because that's what real knights did in, for example, France. Heavy infantry can actually take a beating now. Even when surrounded, they hold the line instead of instantly crumbling. What really stands out though is faction identity. Different factions generally play differently. They have loads of different units. From the cavalry-focused steppe humans to the heavy infantry armies of the Normans, which I used throughout my own campaign. The Byzantine Empire in particular has an impressively deep roster, with a wide variety of units, including Varangian guards that even add more flavors to their armies. Who doesn't like a good Viking? This mod also adds a number of interesting scripts that really shake up the campaign. One of the most impactful ones is the Pope. If Jerusalem falls out of Christian hands, a crusade can be called, temporarily halting wars within Catholic Christendom and pushing kings in general towards the Holy Land. This was one of my favorite mechanics. It keeps the campaign moving forward and prevents it from turning into an endless stalemate. The Pope also plays a more active role overall. He'll frequently ask for financial support, and while it can be annoying, paying him off actually has real benefits. It boosts public order, helps convert provinces to Christianity, and improves relations with other Christian kingdoms, which can open the door to new diplomatic agreements like trade agreements or alliances. Some scripts are even faction specific. In my campaign, after conquering a major city in South Italy, the Byzantines contacted me with an ultimatum. I could either hand the city over in exchange for a massive sum of gold, or I could keep it and go to war with the Roman Empire. What do you think I did?
You can't come over here and take it from my cold dead hands. We refuse!
Moments like these made the campaign feel reactive and alive, and they add meaningful decisions instead of passive expansion. Recruiting units isn't just about money anymore. You also need the proper infrastructure and equipment. For example, to field heavily armored troops, like knights, you first need to produce their armor by building blacksmiths and related structures. Losing those elite units now actually hurts you a lot. Not just because of the men, but because you also lose the equipment they were using. What makes this even more interesting is what happens after a battle. When you win a battle, your soldiers loot the battlefield and recover equipment, which is then sent back home and reused to recruit new units. If you want to see how all this actually plays out over a full campaign, you can check out the VODs on the channel. They're all available under the live tab. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, consider liking the video and subscribing. Alright, let's talk about where this mod could use some more work in my opinion. Even though this mod is a lot of fun to play, there are a few things which I would like to see differently. First up, unit variety. After some time in the campaign, I noticed that a lot of the units look pretty similar to each other, especially compared to mods like 1212 AD for Attila Total War or Divida e Impera. The visual distinction between units sometimes feels a bit lacking. I also found the colors a bit muted. Of course, you could argue that's actually realistic for the time period, but it can also make battles a little less fun to look at. The scripting is one of the mod's strengths, but it can also be a little frustrating sometimes. For example, in my Duchy of Apulia and Calabria campaign, the Pope kept asking me for money every few turns. I could simply not afford to pay him at all, which kept giving me disadvantages and more disadvantages. You could say that this is realistic, maybe it is, but it can feel a bit punishing, especially early on in the campaign. So, while the mod definitely isn't perfect, these are relatively minor issues compared to the depth, atmosphere and overall polish it brings to Rome 2 Total War. This is, in my opinion, the most complete medieval Total War experience you'll be able to get whilst you wait for Medieval 3 Total War. The developers were even kind enough to drop by in my small stream chat and explain some of the mechanics to me in person, which was a really nice touch. If you've been feeling the medieval itch, this mod is absolutely worth your time. Give it a try and you won't be disappointed. Please leave a comment with your opinion down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more Total War content, mod reviews and epic campaigns, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like. It helps me out and keeps me motivated to make these videos. I also stream 4 times a week on this YouTube channel, on Twitch and on Kick. So if you want to watch me play these games live, please follow me on your favorite platform. Check out the links in the description for that and come hang out. It's always fun to have people chatting whilst we're playing some Total War and having fun. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next campaign. Goodbye.